Smart home buying with Troy Shively here. Of course, I'm Troy Shively, team leader of Troy Shively Luxury and Living, located in the Tampa Bay area. In this episode, we're tackling the topic is whether or not home prices are going to increase in 2026. Well, to get an idea of whether or not that's going to happen or not, let's look at some things historically. In 2006, there were 6.48 million homes sold that year. However, it wasn't long after that we had what? The housing bubble collapse. And from 2008 to 2010, we saw a huge decrease in home sales. The worst year being 2010 with only 4.2 million homes sold in the US. After that, we saw an increase year by year where home buying started to pick up, all the way to 2020 when we saw 5.6 million homes sold that year, bringing us back to about an average year for real estate. Now in 2021, because of interest rates dropping so low, we saw a great year in real estate where it peaked to 6.12 million homes sold that year. However, with that, we saw inflation jump. In fact, in 2022, inflation jumped all the way up to 9%, a high of 41 years when it came to inflation rates. What did that do? That pushed interest rates way up. People prior to that had seen interest rates as low about 2.5%, and all of a sudden, in a very short period of time, jumped to almost 8%. That's why we saw from 2021 to 2022, home sales go from that 6.12 mark all the way down to 5 million, a huge decrease in home sales in 1 year. Now, when looking at that inflation rate that jumped in 2022, you have to go all the way back to 1981 to see inflation rates that were that high. Now, remember, in 1981, that's when Kim Carnes came out with Betty Davis Eyes, Rick Springfield came out with Jesse's Girl, and the number one movie in the theaters was Raiders of the Lost Ark with Harrison Ford. That was a long time ago. But 2022 did, with the high interest rates and the high inflation rate, bring a huge decrease in home buying in the United States. Now, that wasn't worse because the interest rates didn't come down quickly. In 2023, 2024, and 2025, we only saw about 4 million homes sold each of those years. The very low, in fact, the lowest amount we've seen in over 25 years here in the United States. And with that, we saw, in fact, realtor boards have to merge. We saw mortgage brokerages that have shut down in the last 3 years. Real estate brokerages shutting down, and some of them having to merge just to stay afloat. And in addition to that, we have seen tens of thousands of realtors leaving the industry throughout the U.S. over the past 3 years. Now, what does that mean for 2026? Well, what it means is if we're looking at about an average of 5.5 million homes sold per year, and we've only been selling about 4 million homes for the last 3 years, that means we are behind by a 4.5 to 5 million home sales for the past 3 years. That is a lot of people who are just sitting on the fence waiting to jump back into the market. Now, when we look at the economy, things are looking very favorable. In fact, the inflation rate has dropped from that 9% down to about 2 to 2.3%, and interest rates have dropped dramatically as well, being around 6.2, 6.3% for a 30-year fixed conventional loan. Now, we work with our preferred lender, which is King Mortgage Group, who is actually offering 30-year fixed conventional loans right now for 5.35%, an excellent rate. FHA for 4.94 and VA for 4.99 fixed rate. Those are excellent rates no matter what year you're in. But with that, and with the economy looking very optimistic for the year to come, as well as we are looking at a change in the Federal Reserve chairman. It looks like that Jerome Powell is going to be replaced by Kevin Warsh in May as the chairman of the Federal Reserve. And a lot of people are very excited about that. He was a special counsel to President George W. Bush. He then worked in the Federal Reserve for 5 years and currently has been a professor lecturing for the Stanford Institute of Business for Graduate Studies. So he is an individual with an incredible resume, and a lot of people are very happy and very optimistic about him becoming the next chairman for Federal Reserve, which makes the market look even more positive for the year to come. Now, with that, if we start seeing all these people, remember, we are behind by about 4.5 to 5 million home sales over the past 3 years. That's a lot of people sitting on the fence. And if those people start coming back on looking for homes again, homes are going to start selling quicker. And with that, home prices are going to increase. So what is the option? What is the best plan? Well, if you were able to buy over the next 6 months, you probably can still do fairly well with the home price and still get an excellent interest rate. Some people sit there and still say, well, what if the interest rates go lower? Well, remember this. There's an old saying in real estate that you marry the purchase price, but you date your interest rate. Meaning you can't renegotiate your purchase price, but you can always do a refi for your mortgage if rates do drop. But remember, a 5.3 30-year fixed interest rate for a conventional loan is a great deal, no matter what you're in. So what do we think 2026 looks like? If people start coming off the fence and start getting back into the market, yes, home prices are going up. I think you could very easily see over the course of the next 7 to 8 months, a home going for 580 or 550 could easily be going for about 580 to even 585 because of so many people who have been waiting to buy and just sitting on their money. Watching the market and waiting till they feel like they got that cosmic green light to jump back in the market. So the market's looking very favorable if you're looking for at a time to sell. If you could wait till April, I think you'll do very well on selling a property. The first here in January, February, March still may be a little sluggish, but I think by April things are going to be looking very positive for the real estate market. If you're looking to buy, next 6 months still looks very favorable for you. If you're looking to buy in the Hillsborough, Pinellas, Manatee, Sarasota, Polk, or Pasco County area, give us a call at 813-495-2273 or go to our website, troyshively.com, or feel free just to shoot me an email, troy@troyshively.com. As always, we are here to help, and if you would, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate it.